G'day everybody, Uncle Joey Jojo here. Great to see you all again. Today we are doing a loft space. Get more and more often turning a attic area into a loft space so we can add storage in the inner suburbs. So step with me this way and we'll check it out. Old home, round about 1910, 1920 this was built. We've got a huge loft area. A little bit of history for you. The English, because we get a lot of our building practices from England, Britain, we have a lot of building practices that's very similar to theirs. A single story area, single story house in England is called a bungalow. A single story house with an attic area is called a dormer bungalow. Anyway, so here we are up in the attic space. You can see we've got, roof space. We've got heaps of area here. I could stand up in the middle there, no worries. Here we've got our props, under purlin running through across here, rafters running down. It's a sheeted roof, so 40 kilos a square metre. Here is the area that we're dropping. So all the way through here, across here, and then across here. This whole area, which is going to be bathroom and ensuite and cupboard space, this whole area drops down. We've got 3-point ceilings downstairs. There's a little drop down and we will have a 2.7 ceiling, which is still a nice ceiling height. And then on top of that, we'll have all of this area as storage space. We will cut an attic ladder in as well. Now, these are our ceiling joists. This is our hanging beam. Hanging beam picks up mid-span of the ceiling joist, so no downward pressure, they don't split, and all that jazz. From there, we've got our rafters running here. Now, this has been built very nicely. Our rafters are all OB, hardwood, and all of our ceiling joists running through here are all Oregon. Beautiful Oregon, nice old Oregon. You can see some of the grains in that. Once you plane that down and fix it up, it had looked almost like cedar. The grain would be that nice and tight. Now you can see all the way through here, there's light showing, so energy efficiency is out the window. We'll fix all of that up, block all of those in, and make sure that we've got insulation to be able to run all the way through. We've got a deep joist you can see down on the floor there. I'll bring you down to have a look at those before we put them up, and we'll be spanning from internal to external wall. So down the bottom now, here we've got our KD hardwood, full span, and it'll go from our external wall into our internal wall. Now, you'll notice that we've actually checked them in to our wall studs. That means that we can span through. If we need to cut any doorways out or something like that, we can span through. From there, under this wall, you can't see now, but you'll be able to, hang on. Here we've got our main bearer running all the way through, and that goes under this wall. So that then becomes a load-bearing wall. Any downward pressure here will then transfer down the wall and onto this bearer in our stump system. Once we've got all of these in, then what we'll do is we'll actually drop the whole ceiling, and then we can start picking up our under-purlin and our under-purlin prop and prop those down to our beams wherever we need to do so. Here we have our ceiling joist finalised and run, and all of our wires running through it for the floor above, that attic space or that storage space. You'll notice that we've got holes drilled in to some of these ceiling joists. Really important thing to note is that you do not ever want to drill into your timber too big a hole that will take away the stability of the timber or take away the strength, integrity of that timber. If this hole here happened to be a 120 and we've got a 190 piece of timber, then what would happen is you'd lose all of the strength in the center of it, and it would allow it to break or crack under stress. There are nowadays special systems in place like posi struts or smart beams and stuff where you can drill certain size hole, which is usually about 1/3 the timber size. Don't quote me on that, everyone's different, so you'll need to look at the manufacturer's specifications, but it'll allow you to run pipes and things between wherever you need to, especially if you've got a habitable space above. These ceiling joists are not made for a habitable space above. This is only made for a storage area, and you can see that they'll span the whole way through from side to side. Our side pieces, as you probably already saw in the video, have been checked into these studs. Any downward pressure goes all the way down this wall stud and to our joist bearer and stump system underneath that wall. If we were to have a second story up here, these would be a much deeper joist, probably either a 240 or a 290, and then we'd put a herringbone brace in between each one so they couldn't roll, and we could still run bits and pieces in between. We'll go upstairs and have a look at it finished off. Here's our attic space all finished off. Yellow tongue or orange tongue is laid down, particle board. We've got an amboss ladder here to allow us up and through onto this roof space. Here we've dropped it down, you can see that 500 millimeters, and we will clad all of these edges all the way around with just some ply to stop anything falling inside that wall cavity there. It's important to note, downstairs we had a 190 and it spans the whole side one way to the other, and that allows us to stand up here and jump and bounce and do all the stuff that we want to do and store stuff up here. 60 kilograms per square meter this has been allowed for, so not a huge amount of weight, but still a usable amount of weight. Up here you can see our ceiling joists. Here is a 90 mil piece of timber, and it's also Oregon, which is soft. It's not an OB, ordinary builder or hardwood, and you can't use this area here to store stuff onto. We get asked when we're converting a roof space, can we just lay floor sheets, particle board floor sheets straight over the top of the existing joist system and use that? The answer is no. If you put weight here, that whole ceiling would then take extra weight, and you can see through here that there's no walls or anything. If you can see through there, there's no walls or anything under here. If you put weight up here with such a small joist, that whole ceiling would sag and maybe even collapse depending on the amount of weight that you put up. So the quick and short answer is no. Don't put storage in a roof space if you know that it's not, or if you don't understand the weight that is going to be put up there and the weight bearing capacity of the joists that are already in place. Whenever we do a ceiling or roof conversion, the reason that we don't utilize this is because we can utilize this if we want to, but we'd have to beef up every single ceiling joist to allow for a certain span. That needs to be engineered. You need to get a professional to have a look at that, to understand what you can and can't do in a roof space. From here you can see this is all being made to suit the engineer's specifications, and what we will do is put a piece of timber here so you can walk up the amboss ladder across this section here, and then this whole section can be used for storage. That's given you all of the answers and understanding that you need. Storage area. If you have any questions or queries, flick me over something. I'll help you out wherever I can. Make sure that you get professional advice from engineers regarding structures, downward pressure and weight the spread of weight in the area. If you need any other questions or queries answered, flick them over, I'll have a look at them. Until next time, stay unreal, banana peel, and thanks for watching.